Hello, grade 1. Today we'll be revising the genre of the story and revising the story, The Garden Party. Okay, we've taken this genre before, and in class we revised several times what is a realistic fiction. Okay, we all know that a realistic fiction is a made-up story. That made up means that the story is not real. But why is it called realistic? Realistic because the events or the things that happen in the story can happen in real life. Okay? What else? We also said that this week, while we read the story, we need to look at the illustration, the pictures in the story. Why? Because the pictures help us understand how the characters feel and also help us understand what's happening in the story. Okay? So, in a realistic fiction, there are characters and there's a setting. Characters are the people that are in the story. What about the setting? The setting is the place or when the story happens. Let's start reading and see what is realistic fiction. Realistic fiction. Characters are the people in realistic fiction. Details describe characters and the reason for their actions. Right? We also said before that the setting of the story can show us or has an effect on how the characters behave. Okay? We said that the author, the person who writes the story, likes to use words to describe the characters. Okay? For example, in the story about Henry, we said that the author wrote that Henry has a red bike. He used the word red to describe Henry's bike. He used words such as, he wrote a sentence about Henry likes to ride his bike around his neighborhood. He likes to go far. So these are all sentences that describe what the characters like to do, what the characters look like. And so it shows us the reason for their actions, why they behave like this. Here it shows you a picture of the story Blackout, when the boy went to check on Mrs. Johnson, right? Okay, so it says here, describe the reason the boy helps Mrs. Johnson in the story Blackout. We talked about the boy, and we talked. He said, why did the boy do that? What kind of boy do you think he is? And for example, Kenan said, because he's kind. Another person said he'd like to help. That shows that the character is a nice person and he's very helpful. Okay, we also talked about what he did when he went down and took the flashlight. What did he do? He saw Mrs. Johnson looking for batteries. She wanted batteries for her radio. What did he do? He took one battery and gave it to Miss Johnson so she can use it for her radio. These are all words that describe describe the characters in the story and why they behave like that. Because he's kind, he wanted to help his neighbor. His neighbor is the person who lives near him, right? And he cared about her, so he went upstairs to check on her. And when he saw that she needed something, he gave it to her. Okay? It says, set a purpose. It is important to think about why you are reading. Your purpose or reason could be to learn or to have fun. So when you read a story, you have to think, why am I reading the story? Is it for fun or is it to learn? Remember when we read the story about Look Both Ways? I told you it's an informational text. So it gives you facts. It's teaching you something to learn. When you cross the street, you must look both ways, left and right. In a realistic fiction, you can learn about something, but you're also reading to have fun. That's your purpose. That's the reason you're reading the story. Okay? So, in a realistic fiction, it has characters. Okay? The characters are the people in the story. What do we look for? We look at the pictures and we read the words or look at the words to know how the character feels, what he will do or what she will do. Like here, it says here, character, Pam. What is the name of the character? It says on her shirt, Pam, right? Character details, details about the characters. We know from the words, it says here, in the story, for example, Pam jumps up and down. Yes, Pam says. So we know from the words in the story that Pam likes to jump up and down. It shows you the action that she's jumping up and down. What does Pam say? She says yes. She says it with excitement, with strong feelings. How do I know? From the exclamation. What else? I look at the picture and see that she's doing something. Her arms is spread open and her legs up. That means she can be dancing, she can be jumping, and I make sure from the words. Okay? All right. We had 2 vocabulary words from the garden party and 2 vocabulary words from click, clack, click. Okay. The first word is plant. We said that plant means to plant something. For example, to put a seed in the ground. Remember when one of your classmates came and explained it to us in front of the class? We said we put the seed inside the soil, the brown thing in the ground, and we cover it and we put water with the sun, and with the sunlight and water it starts to grow little by little and becomes a plant. Maybe can become a flower. Sometimes other things can grow into trees. And some people like to plant fruits, vegetables. So a plant is something that you grow in the ground. What about help? Help means to do something with someone, right? To support, or to when you see someone in trouble, you can help them with what they have problems with. Sometimes when I go around and I collect the homework, sometimes another student goes around and reminds his friend, take out your homework, take out your homework. You are a student helps me. Sometimes when we pass out the big yellow books, I have 2 students that help me pass out the books so we don't waste time. Okay, we also have the word join. Join means to be a part of. Like for example, Amina wants to join the music band. She wants to be a part. She wants to be in the band. Okay. Also, the word meet. Meet means to see someone and say hi or to talk to. Like I told you guys, we meet each other in class. I come to the class, I see you, and we talk and we explain the lesson. All right. Here, the story, garden party. Okay. It would be nice if you guys read the story also, so you can practice your reading, right? Garden party, community garden. So we said a community garden is a garden that is in a neighborhood, and everyone from the community from the neighborhood can come and sit in it or plant in it. So it belongs to the whole neighborhood. Okay? So the title, what is the title? Garden Party. Written by Charles R. Smith Jr. Written by means he is the author. Illustrated means the person who drew the picture. So Debbie Palin, she is the person that drew the pictures for the story, and Charles is the person who writes. Okay? So we talked about the characters. Let's look at the characters before we start the story. Who are the characters? We have Jamal, we have and his dad and mom. Right? So while we're reading, you have to pay attention to what the character says and what he's doing from the pictures. Okay? We got the spot for our garden, said Dad. How can we plant the garden? Asked Jamal. It's so big. Okay? So what does Dad say? Dad said we got the spot for our garden. Dad said we found the place where we can grow a garden. So Jamal had a question. How do you know that Jamal had a question? From the question mark. How can we plant the garden? It's so big. It's like, it's so big. How can we plant it? So what word did Jamal use to describe the garden? He said it's so big. So the word big is the word used to describe the garden. We can have a garden party, said Mom. Right, said Dad. Our neighbors will help. They will? Asked Jamal. Okay, so the word spot here means place, not a dot or, okay? So Jamal and his family, they found a place where they can grow a garden. But Jamal said, it's so big, how can we grow it by ourselves? It's too big. So his mom had an idea. She thinks of something. She said, we can have a garden party. And did Dad say yes? He said, right. Our neighbors will help. Who are the neighbors? Okay, but before all of that, we talked about in class, what is a garden? A garden is a place, okay, that has grass, trees, flowers, and sometimes vegetables and fruits. Okay, so a garden is a place where we can plant. We can plant grass, flowers, trees, fruits, and vegetables. Okay, but because it's such a big area or a big place, they need help. So Dad said their neighbors can help them. Okay, neighbors are the people that live near you. In class, some of you were confused. Neighborhood is the place where many people live. Okay, so neighborhood is the place where there are many trees. Remember when we showed on the board? There are many trees and many homes, okay, and streets. But neighbors are the people that live near you. Okay, and some of you in class are neighbors, like Malika, she is neighbors with Yahya, and examples. Many of you gave me examples of who your neighbors are. Okay, and Jamal said they will. Are you sure they will help us? Okay, it says, what does the word neighbor mean? I hope you know. You can also look at the picture and think of what a garden is. Okay, you can see that there's a big piece of land or an area here, and they have soil, so you can have an idea what a garden is. And we just talked now about what a garden is. So let's see what they did. So are they in the garden? No. The setting changed. They went to their street or their neighborhood. Let's see what happened. First, they went to the tall apartment building on State Street. We will help, their neighbors said. So they went back to the neighborhood, okay? And their neighbors said, we will help. So they agreed. They said yes. Okay, let's go and read the first sentence again. First, they went to the tall apartment building on State Street. What word did the author use to describe or tell about the building? He said tall. Tall is the word used to describe the building, right? Next here it says, next they went to the red brick houses near the park. We will help, their neighbor said. So they went to the red brick houses near the park, also in their neighborhood, and their neighbor said, okay, we will help too. All right? So how do I know that they said? It says here in the line, we will help, their neighbor said. So it shows you that the neighbor said they will help them. Okay, what word did the author use to describe the houses? Go back and read. Next, they went to the red brick houses near the park. So the author used the word red to describe the houses. And if you look in the picture, you see that the houses are red and made out of brick. Okay? Okay, so now the neighbors in the building, in the tall building and in the red brick houses, all agreed to help. They were all bringing stuff so they can start planting. Okay, what happened next? Last, they went to all the little stores on Main Street. They went to the stores. Stores is another word for shop. They went shopping to buy the supplies or the things they need for planting. We will help, their neighbors said. So they went to buy the supplies and they went to the stores and the neighbors came out and started to go to the garden party. Look here, all the neighbors are in the garden spot, and they start working together as a group, okay, and they started planting and having their garden party. Let's see. You were right, Dad, said Jamal. Our neighbors did help. That's what neighbors do, said Dad. Okay? So what did Jamal say to his dad? Jamal said, you were right, Dad. Our neighbors did agree to help. And look at them. They're working together in groups. Remember, groups are sets or a number of people. Okay? They're working together. And Dad said, yes, that's what neighbors do. Neighbors are here to help each other. They do activities together. Remember, in the beginning of the week, we said people in the neighborhood know each other, and sometimes they do activities together. And you guys too. You guys sometimes meet each other in the club. You guys tell me all the time that you see each other in the club, and you guys go out and play in the kids area. These are all activities that you guys do. Maybe you guys can go shopping together. Maybe you guys can do something for your community. Maybe you guys can go to a park near your neighborhood and plant trees. Okay? So neighbors know each other. They have a relationship. They spend time together. They do activities for fun and for their neighborhood. Okay? All right. Okay, that's another story. If I ask you, how do you guys know that this story is a realistic fiction? Because this story is made up, okay? It has characters, it has settings. But, although it's not real, but the events in the story can happen in real life. These activities or these things can happen with real neighbors. You can do it with your neighbors. Real people can do it in real life. Okay? I hope you understood. Good luck on your quiz, and I will be making another short videos for the prefix.